Hello again. I'm not ashamed to admit that as a young man, I visited the pub, or rather a succession of pubs, almost every evening. The landscape of my hometown was, at least in my mind and those of the young people with whom I associated, defined by its pubs. If you went into one of those local pubs, there was an excellent chance of bumping into people you knew. And if you hadn't made any definite arrangements to see somebody, then the individual could often be found in the Angel, the Cranbrook, the Cauliflower, or the Bell. All those Ilford pubs have, by the way, now closed down. In 1990, there were 65,000 pubs in this country. Now there's only 45,000. The pub is no longer where people go to meet each other, especially young people. An awful lot of them don't drink alcohol at all, so there'd be little point really. I find it sad that such a quintessentially British institution as the pub should be fading away, but then that's probably no more than an old man's nostalgia. No tradition or way of life lasts forever, and just as we no longer have chimney sweeps or rag and bone men with horses and carts, so too we shall soon see the end of the public house. To my mind, the rot set in when smoking was banned in pubs. Who could ever have imagined a pub where you couldn't have a smoke? I remember some places I went where you could hardly see across the room for the grey-blue fog. Smoke and pubs were simply part of the same scene. I've heard it said that the fact that there are a lot of Muslims in certain districts has something to do with the decline of the pub. That's all nonsense. The fact of the matter is that young people simply do not wish to hang out in groups now in the pub. If you look in a pub these days, you'll not see a gaggle of teenagers hoping that the landlord will think that they are 18. The average age of the people in pubs in this area, I think, is around about 50. I'm guessing that in another 10 or 20 years, the remaining pubs will have closed, as there simply will not be enough customers to keep them open. At the moment, the government is being blamed for the collapse of the pub, but that too is foolish. The depressing fact is that all human institutions rise, flourish for a while, and then fade away. The pub is no exception to this general rule, and soon visiting the pub will be as much an anachronism as getting a tinker to mend your saucepans or dancing around the maypole. Times change.